Okay, do you guys have the questions pulled up? I don't have them.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up.
Okay, sweet.
Okay, says, as you look at the pictures of Victorian fashion, what sorts of inferences can you draw about society? So I'm looking at the PowerPoint right now. I'm kind of just looking through it again, just as a reminder, but it's crazy to me how thin the corsets are in some of these. They're like dangerously thin, obviously. So as far as a question asking what inferences can you draw about society? I mean, my initial thought is that they're, as society, they want their women to look as thin as possible, at least in the waist, and then that's something that's important to them as a society, and that I don't know, it's kind of objectifying women in a sense, in my opinion, just because they're manipulating their appearance to look unnatural. So yeah, that was kind of my initial thought with looking at those pictures.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, yeah, like you said, it's something that was super important to them, and I think that it's like carried on into today's society. Like, I think a lot of girls struggle with self-image, and it started from way back then. Like, it's something that we've always kind of been coached through. Like, you're prettier if you're thin, or you're prettier if XYZ. And I think that this just kind of is proof that it's always been something that girls have struggled with. So I don't know.
I totally agree with both of you. I took notes and it's like basically what said. So I think we can move on.
Sweet.
By the way, did you guys see the one picture where like it's like their butts are gigantic?
Oh yeah, I did.
Like, anyway, I just thought that one was funny.
Yeah.
But all right, anyway, next question. What sort of meaning can we attach to the changes in women's sense of what shape their bodies should have, or the fact that hairstyles were simplified? Let me roll one more time. That was a long slide. What sort of meaning can we attach to the changes in women's sense of what shape their bodies should have, or the fact that hairstyles were simplified?
I think that it just goes to what you were saying before, that they have like a pressure that they're under to all have this specific type of body, like the hourglass body to an extreme. And it's like super unhealthy. And they're like that there's that picture with like you see the organs and how they've moved and changed because of this fashion trend and this expectation from society to be this slim in this part of your body. So I think that is like a huge change from like the empire waist, where it's just like free and open, to like a drastic opposite. I have no idea about the hair thing though. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably the craziest thing about all that, is that it literally like changes their anatomy. Like their insides are completely moved and shifted. And number one, it's kind of crazy that the body can do that and be relatively fine for the short term. But also it's crazy that they would go to those lengths to mess with their body. I mean, I guess people still do that today. You know, they try to manipulate their body, and I guess plastic surgery is a lot safer option than that. But it is crazy how all these types of trends are still very applicable today. Like, you know, you're, like you said, hourglass shape, and women want to be skinny in certain areas and large in other areas. And it's crazy how it's exactly the same so many years later, and how sad it is that as a society we push women to feel that they need to manipulate themselves to look, you know, good, I guess. And then, yeah, as far as hairstyles, I don't know either. So, yeah.
I think it's crazy too how kind of girls, like, as it's like grown and like as that stigma has like morphed, like girls kind of do it to each other as well. Like, you know, we're like, oh, like we should go on diets, or oh, we should go work out. Like, it's kind of like, I don't know, like a normal thing, where I think if it were to just be how it was naturally, like we wouldn't do those things to each other. Like, guys do it, but also girls kind of push it on each other as well, and it's kind of just like spun out of control. Like, that's why we have eating disorders. Like, from before, that was never an issue, whereas now, like, that's like a thing. And it's just sad to think about that. It's just kind of spiraled out of control in a way. But yeah.
All right, ready for the next question. What does this have to do with the way women were thought of or thought about themselves? So I guess it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about just how they were objectified. You know, they were trying to look like a particular way. And so they were, as far as how they were viewed, they were trying to, you know, people expected women to look this way. They expected them to dress this way. That was kind of the standard. And as far as how they viewed themselves, I'm sure there's a self-worth or a self-esteem issue if you weren't crazy thin, if you weren't, you know, able to look like that. So as far as, you know, what they think of themselves, I'm sure, you know, there was a lot of that kind of, you know, maybe some depression or some anxiety around looking that way. And like you're saying, it's something we're seeing today still. And it's crazy. I don't know. It's just crazy to me how we haven't figured this out yet as a society. Like, you feel like you should know by now, like, all right, let's stop objectifying women and stop telling them they should look this way or be this way when it's really unhealthy physically as well as mentally.
I thought that, yeah, the waist was like a huge deal back then, but I also found it interesting that they had kind of like almost like a men's kind of dress influence. A lot of like collared, I don't know, it wasn't in all the dresses, but some of the dresses had like collared long sleeve and like horizontal striping like the men. So I feel like maybe times are evolving more because more women were beginning to work. So I felt like they had a lot of, I don't know, maybe they thought that men's, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I just felt like that was kind of interesting how, to me, I don't know if you guys felt the same way about that or noticed that, but I noticed that in the dresses.
Interesting, like how I feel like they were very modest back then. Like, a lot of what I was reading was like, oh, like collared, or oh, they wanted to be covered, like adding like different types of fabrics to make themselves cover. So they wanted to be very thin, but at the same time, like very covered. Like, only certain people could see how thin they really were or something.
Totally.
So I can totally understand what you're trying to say with the guys, because I feel like a lot of what I took away from the reading was that they did kind of copy women, and they were very like, they weren't exposed or whatever.
Yeah, because like in the Empire Waistline is a lot of Like I felt like a lot of cleavage, and like even they showed a lot of arm back then, but then like they have long sleeve. I feel like the last girl picture is really like out of place, but I don't know. That's just something.
Yeah,
that
totally.
was like, totally random.
So they're like the wedding dress looking one. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I had to step out real quick. Netflix got turned off for my daughter, so end of the world. Anyway, next part of the question is, what is the significance of the tight-waisted corset or the bustle? Is that how you say it? B-U-S-T-L-E, bustle?
Your guess is my best.
All I wrote was beauty is pain.
Seriously.
That's all I wrote. But I feel like we covered that question.
Yeah, that's all been included in everything else we've said so far.
Yeah.
Okay, then next part is, why did men become even simpler in their dress? One thing I kind of noticed when I was looking through this is the men's clothing. Like, yeah, it's different, but it's like not all that far from how men dress today. Like, it's not a huge difference. Obviously, it's different, but it's not like, you know, a suit or tuxedo like isn't that different than how these guys are dressed. Which obviously the women is significantly more different. But anyway, I think men maybe got more simple just because, I don't know, laziness, or they were just not out there to impress as much as maybe they were, and just maybe it was more out of convenience that they wanted to dress more simple. And I don't know, I guess that's kind of what I was thinking when I was looking at it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I thought they cared less, and I feel like maybe also because there was evolving times and more jobs were created, they had less time to focus on themselves. I don't know, but what was up with the like hairless chin facial hair thing and the canes? Everyone had canes.
Yeah, I feel like facial hair in general is just kind of, it's like a trendy thing. Like, it goes in and out. Like, what, a couple of years ago is when all the beards started. Everyone had beards and everyone had crazy mustaches. And, you know, at some point it's going to evolve, and I don't know, maybe people will start shaving their chins and have weird facial hair. I mean, people already do that right now, but I don't know. That's a good point. It's just, can you imagine guys just walking around with canes? How ridiculous they would look. But I guess it's all just styles, and it evolves and shifts and goes in and out, and I don't know. Probably wasn't weird at the time. Probably was cool. That's why it's silly that beards are against the honor code, because it's all just a style thing that goes in and out. Beards today aren't negative. They don't show that you're a rebel. They look good on a lot of guys. So anyway, that's a whole tangent you don't want to get me started on, because I hate shaving. So
I agree. Do you guys have any other questions about the reading or anything else you guys want to talk about?
Is that all the questions? Is that it?
no, there's a couple more.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
It says, why is there so much less variation for men than for women? I would imagine it's just because women were objectified more than men. And so men were just kind of, nobody's paying attention to how they dress. They just go about their day and dress how they want, and nobody really cares. Whereas women, they were placing a focus on them and, you know, setting certain standards and expectations for women. So they're always trying to impress and make changes. I'm sure that's why it evolved and had so many different variations. Whereas men, nobody really cared.
Yeah, I I feel like the women were when they were out and about, it's like their whole attire was like a work of art. Like the bottoms of their dresses were so fancy, and you can tell that because of the corset thing, it took them like a really, really long time to get ready. And I don't know, I feel like maybe then the women, I don't, it looks like it's really hard for them to do any kind of working things. The ladies that were like working in the fields, they don't look like they were wearing corsets. I feel like maybe those women had men that were working for them, and so they just had a lot more time on their hands.
Can you imagine trying to like do stuff in the kitchen with those gigantic dresses and like trying to reach and do stuff? It's just kind of ridiculous.
Like anything in a dress that size.
Even the train, there's like a huge train on most of those dresses, and oh, trains are like awful.
I know. I'm just kidding. All right. I think there's like two more. How do these things relate to such issues as relationships between men and women, or the fact that middle class have become clearly the class of power in England? So as far as being an issue between men and women, I can see that leading to confrontation if a woman is having to spend all this time getting ready and all this time getting dressed, and men are just, I don't know, ready pretty quickly. I guess that's still somewhat similar to how things are today, right? Like, I don't know, with my wife, I feel like I'm always waiting her to get ready. But I mean, I could see that being part of some, you know, a relationship and having some conflict that is involved with that. Yeah, I guess that's.
I can see like a girl having resentment to like towards comments that are made like about appearance. Like I feel like it's a sensitive thing for everyone. Like if you comment on how you look or just how you are, if the guy's constantly like, why are you not in a corset, or why are you not skinnier, or why are you not XYZ, then it's gonna have a mental effect, and she's probably gonna like hate herself and him by the end of the day. So I feel like that would like what you were saying, just cause conflict. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I really don't know like how the middle class was. I can't even tell. Like these people don't even look like they're middle class. They look like they're upper class to me. So I don't know about the second half of the question.
When's the last time you saw a middle class person walking around with a cane?
I know, right? I don't know. Old people don't even use canes. They use like those fancy electric wheelchairs now and walkers.
It's true.
But I don't know. I was just wondering like what would happen if a lady got pregnant and I don't even, maybe she wouldn't leave her house for 5 months like or so. I don't know. It's just dangerous. But yeah, I don't know. Did you guys have anything about the second part of the question? Based on just pictures, because there's no reading. Did you guys have like, because she didn't attach it to the first. She's like, something, it's a slideshow supposed to be there.
Watch the following video slideshow, but there's no link.
Yeah, I only have the pictures at the bottom, so.
Yeah, I think we answered the questions the best we could off of the videos. Or not the videos, the PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Was that about, that's all the questions.
Yeah, do you guys have anything else you want to add?
No.
Yeah.
It's shorter. I think it's like been like 15 minutes. Wait, how long has it been?
We started at like 33, so it's been almost 20.
Okay. that's enough.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think
Hopefully.
I definitely feel like I have enough to write the paper, and yeah, I feel like this is good. I'm refreshed.
Do you guys know that? Did you guys look at the critical paper thing that's coming up yet?
I literally just saw that.
Yeah.
I was really confused. Like, are we supposed to just write a paragraph, or are we supposed to write 3 or 4 pages?
I think it actually is a paper.
Oh, okay.
And it's due Friday.
Perfect. Is there another group meeting on Wednesday, or is that an individual thing?
The Browning one is individual, right?
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. The Brownie one is individual. I don't know then about the critical. Maybe I'm thinking of.
It's 3 to 4 pages, double space, MLA.
Because at the top it says like a paragraph. So it's like it says paragraph and then 3 and 4 pages. I don't know. I'll just.
I don't know. I haven't looked at it.
This is just maybe this is just it says this assignment should be brief but should offer at least a paragraph or 2 about the writers and how you intend to compare them.
Then yeah, it's probably not a paper for that one.
So it's like getting into the paper, I guess.
Yeah, probably just help us set up for it and like start thinking of.
Yeah, because that paper is like 100 points. So.
I was gonna say if it's a 3 to 4 page paper and it's only 10 points, that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So hopefully it's just a paragraph. Okay. Okay. I'll send you this link then.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, girl. It was nice talking with you guys.